The movie begins in a supermarket with three bizarre individuals causing chaos by taking items and breaking things. When the cashier questions them, one assailant violently demands the money. At the same time, Joe, a girl, enters to buy something, casually hands cash to the cashier, and requests her change. Noticing her wealth, one robber threatens Joe with a knife, demanding her money. Joe responds by attacking with scissors. As another robber tries to stab her, she deflects the blow with a can of vegetables, igniting a fierce battle. Despite the odds, Joe bravely fights and defeats them all. Afterward, she calmly approaches the cashier to pay for the damaged can. After a while, Joe receives a call from her close friend, Min-hee, who apologizes for not keeping in touch because she's busy with ballet shows. She asks Joe if she's free to come over to her apartment. Joe agrees, takes her motorcycle, and heads over. When she arrives, Min-hee doesn't answer, so Joe unlocks the door using the passcode because she knows her well. But when she enters, Min-hee isn't there. She goes to her room and finds a box wrapped like a gift. Upon opening it, she discovers a worn-out shoe with a note from her friend pleading for revenge against those who wronged her. At the end of the note, there's an online address. Joe, worried, tries to call her and hears the phone ringing from the bathroom. She walks in and is shocked to find her friend dead in the bathtub after taking her own life. We flash back to when they first met. Joe was buying a cake for her birthday at the shop where Min-hee used to work. Min-hee recognized Joe from middle school, and they started hanging out, becoming friends. We also learn Joe works as a personal bodyguard for a private company, while Min-hee works at the shop, but is also a ballerina performing in theater shows. Back to the present, Joe searches for the address mentioned in the letter, which turns out to be an online store selling electronics. Joe places orders via messages, communicating with the chef, when suddenly their conversation gets cut off unexpectedly. He explained that he is very cautious about the people he talks to. After a while, he receives a call on his cell phone from a person named Choi. Ju-won answers but doesn't speak, and Choi is upset, thinking he's calling from another number because she stopped responding to him. He asks her to meet him at Jamsu Bridge and tells her he'll teach her to listen to him his way. Then Ju-won goes to the bridge, as Choi was definitely the last one in contact with her friend. Choi arrives at the bridge by car, handing over bags to some people. When he calls Ju-won and she doesn't answer, he leaves the location. She follows him with the motorcycle until he reaches his house. After finding out Choi's location, she waits nearby until he leaves the house the next day. Then, she goes to his house and opens the door her own way so as not to leave evidence behind. She searches the house to find out anything about him until she discovers a locked closet in one of the rooms. When she opens it, she's shocked to find many torture tools. She opens a drawer and finds many USB drives, each marked with signs about a particular girl. Then she found a flash drive labeled Ballet Dancer. Upon viewing its contents, she realized Choi is a sadistic man who manipulates girls, drugs them, and films their distressing situations. Overwhelmed, she wept, understanding her friend's tragic end. The following day, Joe stayed in her room with headphones on while Choi was engrossed in his phone. Unbeknownst to him, Joe had planted microphones to monitor his actions before leaving his house. Choi received a call from a friend, planning a meeting the next day to hunt, meaning target girls. Joe prepared herself and tailed him to a club. There she spotted him, but when she approached, he vanished. Suddenly, he appeared behind her, touching her shoulder as if familiar, asking how she was. Joe replied that she didn't know him, prompting an apology and an invitation for a drink, claiming she resembled someone he knew. Eventually, they left in his car. Upon inquiring about their destination, Choi said he knew a small, discreet, yet nice hotel. At the hotel, Choi requests a private suite from the receptionist and leaves his car key with him. The suite is luxurious. Choi offers Joha a drink and then goes to the bathroom. Suddenly, he reveals torture tools from his bag, as he has done before in this suite. Upon returning, he finds the glass on the floor and Joha, whom he sedated, seemingly asleep in bed. He starts photographing her, but she stabs him, grasping the knife tightly. She attempts to stab again, but he defends himself, throws her to the ground. She persists in trying to kill him, but he is strong, and they engage in a rapid, intense fight. Despite his physical strength, Joha's quest for revenge fuels her bravery. She manages to get the knife to his neck, but he deflects her and breaks free. He grabs an iron rod, attacking her relentlessly. She somehow manages to stab Choi in the stomach and shoulder, bringing him down, yet still targets his face. He tries to defend with his hands, but she fiercely pushes the knife into his mouth, mutilating him. As she's about to finish him off, a receptionist interrupts by shooting, forcing her to quickly hide under the bed. Out of ammo, he fails, so she traps him and escapes, confronting a man with a chainsaw in the corridor. Suddenly, my daughter intervenes, hitting him with a door, causing him to fall and injure himself. She swiftly grabs Choi's car keys with Joe, and they drive away. We then see Choi in surgery, waking to find himself amidst numerous youths and their leader, known as Chief, who's disappointed and warns him of the chaos her actions create for their drug operations. They asked if he would be able to solve his problem, and Choi told him that he would solve it as soon as possible. Chief got angry with him and told him that he had only 3 days to bring back the girl who did this to him. Meanwhile, Joe stayed with the girl who helped her at the hotel, who revealed that she was one of Choi's gang's victims, and they were called the concubines. If any of them didn't follow orders, they would be threatened with having their recorded videos released online. That's why she was waiting for any opportunity to take revenge on them all. At that time, Choi visited a friend who worked as a pharmacist, and of course, was part of the gang. He was aiding them in distributing drugs, and Choi asked for his help to find the girl who harmed him. When Youngji asked him why he didn't seek help from the university, he said he wanted to take care of the matter himself. However, Youngji was hesitant, because this time, it would be a murder, not just recording. But Choi promised him 100 million won if he helped find her quickly, so he agreed to help. Afterwards, Gul went to her coach at the company where she worked. She informs her friend that she's quitting her job due to recent events and seeks help to acquire unlicensed weapons. The trainer initially hesitates but agrees, advising her to stay cautious. Returning home, she anticipates the arrival of her contacts. An unexpected car arrives, carrying an elderly couple. The weapons they bring are surprisingly ancient, and one small, rusty piece is offered, looking like a toy. However, the man assures her it's easy to conceal and useful. When asked about her intent, she claims it's for hunting. The woman supports this by providing a portable gasoline tank and suggests it could eradicate a hornet's nest during a hunt, demonstrating its fiery power. Meanwhile, at night, Che and Yanji are at the laundromat, where Yanji converses with an officer they supply drugs to and hands him Che's car number, which Joe shared to trace her. Abruptly, Che decides to show him a tracking device attached under the car, realizing Joe planted it. Shortly after, Joe preps her weapons with the hotel girl, who she comforts before telling her to rest. Stepping out for a smoke, Joe returns to find the girl missing. 2 men ambush her, but she fends them off and escapes through a window. The following day, the boss welcomes someone at his farm and asks about his problem. He's told the girl was found, killed, and buried in the mountains, though it's a lie. He hadn't reached Joe yet but found the girl who helped her, now in bad shape from torture. Meanwhile, Joe revisits the hotel, where a suspicious employee doesn't return. Suddenly, his colleague hears a noise, grabs an axe, heads out, only to find Joe pointing a gun at him. She inquires about Choi's location and eliminates him in revenge for mistreating the girls. Joe then proceeds to Choi's farm with ease. You find the girl's doll that they kidnapped on the ground with bloodstains on it. She heads towards the elevator that goes underground, where there are 3 of the boss's men, but she easily takes them out. When she gets down, she discovers a large farm growing, manufacturing, and packaging hashish, with dozens of workers doing this job. Here, she grabs their attention with a gun and tells them she's looking for her daughter, but of course, they don't understand a thing. Suddenly, the boss, Chi, comes in, and it's clear he expected her after he found out that Choi lied to him. He tells her to sit with him and assures her there's nothing between them, but just as he's still talking, she shoots him instantly, taking him out. She then aims the gun at the person running the farm, ready to shoot, but suddenly the gun jams and won't fire. All the employees start attacking her with whatever they have. Jewel quickly draws her second gun and starts taking them down one by one, leading to a fierce battle between them. In a desperate struggle for survival, she's attacked with knives, axes, and sticks. Outnumbered, she fights fiercely until she runs out of ammo and must confront them unarmed. A bloody skirmish ensues, but when she falls, Fortune smiles as she discovers a gun. Despite her opponents intensifying their attack, her speed allows her to overcome them. The chief attempts to kill her, but Joe skillfully dodges and shoots him in the neck, demanding Choi's location. He refuses to speak, leading her to use broken glass as a weapon, shoving it into his mouth, and striking him until he faints. Afterwards, a small car suddenly appears and Joe finds someone exiting the location with a gun. She approaches him and notices the girl lying face down, bearing marks of torture. She aims the gun at him, but suddenly Troy shoots her in the shoulder and the gun falls onto the car. Of course, he didn't want to kill her because he wanted to torture her at his leisure, and Yanji couldn't believe he was still alive. Then Troy suddenly shoots him in the head, saying the 100 million was wasted on him, and then goes to Joe, who was behind the car. But suddenly the girl in the car fires the gun dropped by Joe at him. But she can't figure him out from her state, and as she runs out of bullets, he's still shooting at her. She shoots him right away with a small pistol that really came in handy and shoots him again in the legs. She couldn't believe the girl was still alive. Then they take Choi in a car when he was by the sea and nobody around. She pulls out the gasoline device that emits a very strong flame and goes to Choi, who was shocked, not knowing why she's doing this and he doesn't even know who she is. Joe tells him she's a ballet dancer, and that's when Choi finally understands why Joe is doing this. She opens the gasoline, and Choi starts screaming, telling her he'll pay her any compensation, and that he hasn't done anything to deserve death because of her. Then Joe shoots him. Realizing there's no escape, he tells Choi that if she kills him, it'll be like what happened to Min in hell. She angrily retorts that if he tries, she'll chase him away, even in hell. Then she activates the device, unleashing a fiery chain towards Choi, showing him hell on earth before the real hell. And here our story ends. If you like the summary, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you can follow all our new videos. Goodbye.